That is the jar of names. It's that thing we do every start of every episode. I've got a name anyway. Right, so this video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Kostas Grekos. So yes, this is for you. Very well, right. So this is a Cup of Tea podcast. This is the cup of tea which I'm holding right here. It's too hot at the moment, so I will not be drinking it. I'll be drinking that later. But yes, this is a Cup of Tea podcast. If you want to skip to any points in this video, you can head down to my first comments, and you can skip to this week's topic, which is going to be talking about like this week's videos. I'm going to sort of talk about that later, but talk about this week's videos. I'm also going to be talking about the book club. I'll be talking about this week's question, this week's goals, this week's comment, and this week's pictures are... This isn't skipping, this is what I'm talking about. This week's pictures on the video, we've got 9 Men's Morris board, 9 Men's Morris centre, 9 Men's Morris mill, 9 Men's Morris cooling shortbread, lucky pennies and silver fives, mixing spoon, shortbread fingers, and TV and PC setup. And those are the pictures that we've got on this week's episode. Right. So the update. On the update, it's linked to this week's, or last week's goal, was to catch up. I have catched up, so we're all up to date now, which is good, and I'll talk more about that later in the ending when I get to the goals, which you can skip to, which I just recently said. Right, and apart from that, everything's okay, apart from episode 16 of Assassin's Creed, the pointing, what is it, Pointer's Treasures, I think it is, or Pointer's Treasure. Very beginning, for like a couple of seconds, the video quality changes slightly because I had to record it because for some reason that like 5 seconds or whatever it was wasn't working, so I had to just record a few seconds of that using fraps from Windows Media Player. So obviously the quality drops, but I don't know what was wrong with it. But it was only a couple of seconds, so it's not really big, but hopefully it works out. Right, let's get on to this week's topic then. This is basically what I'm going to do instead of normal topic. I haven't got anything to talk about this week, so I thought I will talk more in depth about this week's and last week's videos. Apart from last week's, we'll talk more about this week's, but last week's videos, we had a Cup of Tea in a podcast, episode 22 of the 6th, 2015, Harvest Moon Back to Nature, episode 37, A Box of Kittens, 77, Cow, Meatloaf, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 11, Captain Tomathosas, Harvest Moon Back to Nature, episode 38, Horror's Cow, Minotaur, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 12, In the Colosseum, Harvest Moon Back to Nature, episode 39, Nick Pro's Cow, Ezio, and we had Sibling Rivalry, episode 11, 9 Men's Morris, and we had Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 13, Antico Pointing. Yes, I forgot to put that on my list. Anyway, so what have we got this week? So, because we're up to date, this is out on a Monday, thankfully. But we've got a Cup of Tea in a podcast, episode 48, 29th of the 6th, 2015. That's obviously what we're doing now, so don't really need to talk about that too much. And then later today, we've got Harvest Moon Back to Nature, episode 40, Dragon Lord 55511's Cow, Sir Kay. And apparently, Sir Kay is actually one of the knights that was part of Arthur's Knights of the Round Table, from what I read of one of your comments, my Lord of Dragons. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 14, Castle Crashers, is out on a Tuesday. Basically, that's called that because basically we do all story missions all into Castel Sant'Angelo. And the first mission is called Castello Crushers, which is a reference to Castle Crushers, the game, which is why that's the title. But yeah, all we're doing is story missions in that, basically dealing with the Castel Sant'Angelo. Wednesday, we've got Harvest Moon Back to Nature, episode 41, Toby Clinically Insane's Cow, Dr. Lily. What else happens in that episode? I can't really remember what happens much in those because the titles are obviously to do with the cows because we buy a lot of cows, and I think we get our last sort of cows in this as well, which is pretty okay. And then Thursday we've got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, episode 15, Tomb of Bones, which is home to lots and lots of bones, including old bones, which is, it's quite a longer episode, like 47 minutes, because the last mission took longer than I thought. But yeah, we do 3 side missions, the Copernicus missions, the Christina mission, and obviously the Tomb of Romulus. But yeah, we do quite a lot in that. But yeah, we're basically going to a Tomb of Bones, which is why I called it that. And then Friday, we have Harvest Moon Back to Nature, episode 42, 40k Warrior Man's Cow, Daffodil. In that one, I know what we do in this episode. This one, we do something very cool, because the last cow we're going to get is not going to be gotten in a conventional way. It's going to be gotten in an unconventional way. Although I suppose more likely it is a conventional way, but compared to what we've done with the other cows, it's an unconventional way. Yes, right. And then obviously Saturday we've got the video of the Try Something video. But Sunday we have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood episode 16, Pointer's Treasure, which is that episode I said has the unfortunate accident of the few minutes of clips, which is a few seconds of clips, which is, didn't work, so I had to re-record it so the quality drops. But all we do in that is get treasures, which is okay. But yeah, that's this week's videos. I just wanted to talk more about them, and obviously the try for something video we'll talk about at the end. Okay, so now let's go on to book club. So the book I was reading was The Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski, which is the Witcher book, the second Witcher book. I finished it. It was a little bit boring in the first half, but then you sort of get into the actual story, which has the namesake of the book, The Sword of Destiny, and it's actually Ciri. That those of you that played The Witcher 3, you know about who Ciri is. I did say in the first book, The Last Wish, he says, I want my reward is the first thing you find at home, which is you don't expect, or something like that. The Child of Destiny is called, but basically in this one the child is born, it's called Ciri, and you find out that's obviously she is your destiny. And the last half of the book is basically trying to say does Geralt believe in destiny? Is he going to accept this girl and bring her to the Witcher Code? And basically it ends with them meeting up pretty much, and they're going to go taken off because something happened to the grandmama of a city, and that's how it all happens. But yes, pretty cool. I really enjoyed it towards the end. The first half was a little bit boring, but the second half was perfect. And now I'll move on to another book. It is The Lady of the Rivers by Philippa Gregory. It's based on it. I got into this because of the TV show that was on The White Queen. This is like the prequel to that. And it's obviously from the author. The TV show was based on these books, so I thought we'll get into that series. And yeah, it seems alright. I mean, literally just started. I'm only on 12 pages in. But they're basically talking about Joan of Arc at the moment. When it's like the people of Luxembourg, whatever they're called. The Duke of Luxembourg or something like that. No, there's Duke of Bedford in it. That sort of stuff. Yeah. Too early to say about that book, but we'll see. We will see. That's it then. So, community. What have we got to talk about on this week's community? Let's do Mention Monday first. Right. So, Mention Monday. These are the people that commented on last week's videos. Yeah, so we just get straight into it, I think. So we have Mr. Domek98, Mick Pro, Dragon Lord 55511, Horia, Aidan Fensterman, and 40k Warrior. So thanks for subscribing. And if you want to get in the jar of names, we should do at the beginning of the episode, or if you want to get in next week's Mention Monday, place a comment between now and the Try Something video at the weekend, because I record these on Sunday, ready for the Monday. Right, okay, so Q&A. Right, 2 questions this week. DragonLord55511 says, Hello, Sir JDTwoSixTwo. I have a question and a riddle for you. Question: who is your favourite Marvel superhero out of Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Iron Man? I'm going to say Thor, because I like the mythology behind it. Although Captain America and Iron Man, probably they're the next two. Followed by Hulk, with Hawkeye and Black Widow last. Okay, and the riddle is, what is made of wood but can't be sawed? Hint, it is the product where you cut trees from lumber or woodworking products. It is the product when you cut trees. What is made of wood but can't be sawed? Is the product... What is made of wood but can't be sawed? Is it paper? What is made of wood? I'm not sure, because everything that's made of wood you can saw. Like tables you can, chairs you can. Tables, I said tables. But it's made from wood. Is it a forest? It's either paper or forest, I think. Although I'm not very confident about that. I'm going to go with either paper or forest, but I don't think I've got that one right this week. Nick Pro says, podcast question. What will happen if you do a Dark Cloud Let's Play again? Because I really want one. I feel you, man. I feel you. I really want to do a Dark Cloud Let's Play, but sadly, I can't. I haven't heard anything from Sony. I'm going to try and see if I can. I can't. It's not really up to me, though. I can't sort of get round to getting copyright permission from them or find some sort of video policy. They have something in their terms and conditions where using the PlayStation 4 share feature, you can do stuff with that, but the way they word it is definitely for PlayStation 4. Like, you can't really apply it to PlayStation 3, which at one point I thought you could, so I was excited, but I couldn't. It doesn't really count as that, but I will try and see my best and see what I can do. But sadly, I can't at the moment, but if I can, it will be amazing. And I probably won't tell you all. I'll probably keep it a surprise. Maybe do it on April Fool's Day, so you all think it's another April Fool's. But yes, I really wish I could do one, but I'm sorry, my friend. Right, subscribers, what have we done this week? This week we got up to 1,049. We did get up to 1,050, but we lost one just before I did the podcast. So we got an increase of 4, but we have 5 names. But shall we get into it? So this week's subscribers, we have random username, Nick Plays MC, Marlon Azambuja, Matteo Brulisha, and King Europe 1. So welcome to the community, and welcome to the team and all that sort of stuff. Right, subscribers. Next is the question. Last week's question was, what was your favourite game from E3? Mr. Dominic98 says, I mean everything, or even though I complained about everything in Fallout 4 presentation and stuff, I would still have to say Fallout 4 just because this is a long-time fan of the series, and I am still super excited, even with a little screw-ups they made, which I hope they fix. So yeah, he says Fallout 4. Nick Pro says, I really like AC Syndicate, but I also have to pick Fallout 4. I don't know which one is my favourite. So add them both. Okay, I've added them both. Right, and I said my favourite one was probably Horizon, Dark Dawn or something. No, Zero Dawn, Fallout 4, or probably Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Those are probably my favourite. So pretty much, apart from the Horizon, everything those two guys have said. And also, this isn't part of the question, but this is something that I was going to include from last week. Nick Pro says last week about Agario, and he says it's a game where you can name your cell and try to eat other cells and become the biggest cell in the server. But it says if you name your cell like one of the countries, it'll get a skin. So that's basically the game that he was talking about from last week. And this week's question, I haven't actually written that down on my list. It is one, there was a week ago when I was talking about Ark Survival Evolved, where it's basically like Dino Survivor game, but I forgot to do the question. The question from that week was, what is your favourite dinosaur? Because we were talking about, obviously, Ark Survivor Evolved, but yeah, what is your favourite dinosaur? I will read mine off next week, I think. Yes, okay, but this week's comment goes to 40k Warrior Man. He says, JD, what would be the fun of collecting the treasure if we were to simply break in through the top? It's the journey, not the destination, that's the important. Yes, I like that. It's the journey, not the destination, that matters the most. I agree with you, 40k Warrior Man, and that is why this is this week's comment of the week. Or this week's comment, not comment of the week, this week's comment. Okay, birthdays. There's no birthdays this week. Horror's birthday is next week. But if you have a birthday, let me know when it is, and I'll read you off a happy birthday when it's your birthday. But that is this week done. What are we doing? 12 minutes in. That's not too bad, I suppose. But yeah, this week done. Last week's goals was to catch up. One sec. And thankfully, we did. Or I did. I actually caught up. It's all been done. I've edited everything. It's all ready for the week ahead. So which means when I record this coming week, so tomorrow, from when you're watching this, I will be able to edit straight away, and everything should be A-okay, and it should all be sorted out, so that means I can now focus on quarter 3 stuff and Skyrim and all that sort of things, which I usually try and do. But yeah, this week's goals are to stay ahead of the game, like make sure I don't fall into another lull and behind on videos, so I stay up on time and stuff. Play Skyrim, which I kind of already am, so I kind of already win that one. I'm currently, where am I at the moment? I'm still in Falkreath. I've got, I suppose let's talk about this more broadly. So I'm going through all the holds, trying to uncover all the map locations. I'm in Falkreath at the moment, and I've only got, what have I got after this? I've got Winterhold. Hold on. So I've got, I can't remember this. I'll name the cities instead. I've got Winterhold, I've got Windhelm, and I've got Dawnstar left to do. So that's, and Morthal. I've got those 4 left to do. So I'm pretty much, I'm nearly over halfway. Or probably am halfway, to be fair. But I'm sort of on the nice little roll now. Whenever I get into the game, I do quite a lot, which is good. So now, hopefully now I'm caught up, I can get some stuff done. But where I'm at the moment, I'm at a secondary location, which is not on the map. It's like a shack. And you can, basically, what it is, it's a shack. And it looks deserted. It is deserted. If you go inside, there's a letter, you pick it up, and it says, oh, my wife said she saw the dragon today. It flew right over our heads. Apparently it lives up in the mountains. She says, I think we should probably move. And I said, nah, if we don't bother the dragon, then it won't hurt us. And sadly, after reading the note, I went outside and I saw 2 corpses called burnt corpses. So this must be the husband and the wife that have sadly been burnt by the dragon. So the wife was right. So the moral of this story, ladies and gentlemen, is that you should always listen to your wife. Because, yeah, they both died a horrible, fiery death. But hey, there was a lovely book under the table about a thief that had to go to another thief. Like she broke into a thief's house, and he was a master thief, and she said, oh, train me, mighty thief. And he was like, okay, we're going to go and steal Nocturnal's cape. And he says, go and sneak up behind her and wait for the distraction, and then we'll steal the cape. And basically, it turns out he betrayed her because the student was the distraction. They killed the student while the master thief stole the cape of Nocturnal, which was a nice little story as well. As you can never trust a thief. No honour among thieves. But yeah, next up, I'm going to go to this little shack behind my Lakeview Manor building, which I'm going to head down there now, but I'll do that after this. And the other goal is to plan some quarter 3 stuff, because I need to sort of plan, I need to sort of plan them because they need to be done. They needed to be done ASAP by Wednesday, which won't happen. But, or maybe I could. No, that is too drastic. I was going to say maybe get them done by Wednesday, but no, it won't happen. By next week, I want to try at least get most of them done, which is a big thing and it probably won't happen, but I'll do it anyway. Yes, that's the goals. Last week's hint, what was it? It was, 9 men doing a Morris, because we did 9 men's Morris, the game. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And I did write down a clue for this week's episode, but I seem to have written it in invisible ink, so I can't seem to see it. But oh well, I'm sure we'll find out what it is at the weekend. But that is this week done. I'm now going to go watch the last episode of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which we'll talk about next podcast, because that's TV time. Well, that's that cup of tea done. Right, thank you very much. And until the next time we meet. And now it's time for What Film? My Friends Need to Be Punished.